Keep it 100 Oklahoma High School Sports on this Sunday, beautiful. I guess we can say spring going into summer afternoon.
Yes, sir.
The sun is out. There's no rain today, so I know people's out having fun.
It's not windy.
It's not windy.
Perfect day for golfing, but I got other plans. So
you got other plans, folks. Well, folks, glad you guys can join us, man. We should be wrapping up our scholarship deal here in the next show. Me, E, and Jonah put something together. I think we got a young man picked or woman picked. So I got to figure if I'm going to give out one or two. So we should have those results here in about the next show we put on. But, folks, like I said, we're going to have another great hot show. Spring ball's around the corner. Kids are graduating, moving on.
Yep.
Moving on to the next journey. I want to give a big shout out to some of the young men and women that won, track, high school, state track and baseball across the state. So before we get started, I want to ask my man Big E, what's going on?
Oh, not much, man. Just been working. I got vacation coming up. I'll be leaving to go to Florida later this week.
Okay.
Flying out to Florida, flying out to Destin where my aunt lives, and then we'll drive from Destin to Orlando.
Okay.
Spend the weekend in Orlando, go to Disney World and Universal, all that good stuff.
Ooh-wee.
Then come back to Destin and then play some golf in Florida. So
hey, man, fun. That sounds fun, Big E.
Yeah.
I know we usually go to Destin every year. I don't know what we're going to do this year. It kind of depends on Zoe's basketball team. I think we're going to go to Knoxville and play in the AAU national tournaments here sometime next month in June. Hopefully she comes back, get released this Thursday. We should find out. Hopefully she can get released, get back on the court. It's been about 6 weeks, E. She ain't touched.
Wow.
I mean, she's been, shooting free throws and doing standing jump shots, but she ain't got a chance to get them down the court. I know she's inching to get back on the court, man. And sometimes, like you said, like a car, if you wear it down too much, guess what? It's gonna break down on you.
Yeah.
And with her being in sixth grade, I think she kind of did too much. We'll look into the future of how many sports she's gonna play, because I know she did basketball, she did track, and then she did tennis. Then she was going to basketball practice, with her basketball team, 3 nights a week. So it just puts wear and tear on a young person's body. I mean, even an old person. You can see LeBron James in these playoffs. Great as he is, he can't make a layup.
They're down 3-0.
Man, I don't even want to talk about it. I'm so upset, man. I mean, just, it looks so. My whole point, man, if you're going to get to the semifinals, you're going to look like that, man. You should just let the Warriors win. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just, don't get there and now you act like you can't hit a jump shot. You can't make a layup. You can't hit you got a wide open dunk and you trying to do a backwards behind the back. Man, just dunk the ball and get the points, man. We lost by the second game 2. I think we lost by 5 points. If you hit either one of those layups or dunk, you lose by 1 and you hit any of them damn threes you shot, you was 1 for 9. We win the ball game. And just then, last night game just the same way, man. Look tired. Good job to Denver, man. They're playing great basketball right about now, man. It's outstanding basketball. I'm gonna keep it real. I think they're the best team in it. I know Butler got them boys over to Miami looking good, but I just tell you, man, the Joker is the real deal. And was it Murray?
Oh, yeah, Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray, man, I'm telling you, man. I mean, people talk about Steph Curry, but, hey, man, you can't kid this guy. This guy's a hell of a shooter himself. But, Lakers, I mean, they've done some good things. Anthony Davis is up and down, 1 minute he's Superman, and the next day he's Superwoman. So that's just how it is. But, folks, like I said, we're going to have a couple special guests. We got head coach Jason Madonna from the Shawnee Wolves coming on. They used to be the old offensive coordinator at Dale City. He just took the head coaching job at Shawnee, which everybody knows Shawnee got hit with a tornado. So he's not getting a chance to do spring ball. I know they're trying to repair the school and get everything going. And I tell you, being a head coach, you already got enough things you got to take care of, but now you got to worry about your school and everything, getting prepared and getting ready for the up-and-coming season. And then we're going to have on our own one of my favorite guys, man, Coach Cole.
Yeah, been a fan from us from the jump.
Yeah, I mean, man, this guy from the day one when me and he had a picnic table in this room, he was liking us. We're going to have him on. He's the Bixby defensive back coach. I think he coached baseball. He got his own podcast show.
Yeah, Jordan Knox,
man, and I've had a chance to be on him. Really need to get E on him, man. He does a little bit. He don't talk sports. He talks a little bit of everything. A lot of movie critics he does, but I tell you, it's always good to have those guys on. And we're getting hot right now, man. Just shout out to Keywan Jones, the outstanding OU football players back in the day. His boy has moved over from Broken Arrow to to Jinx where he went. It was kind of weird. I mean, I guess you can ask that question. People can ask me the same thing. Why my sons didn't go to Middle City, and I was a bomber and they ended up, graduating from Choctaw. But I think he got his boy at home now, and so I think I'm gonna try to have him on the show here in a couple weeks, and we can talk a little Jinx football. We're gonna have Bixby guy on today, so that'd be a good rival because Jinx is the one that kind of knocked Bixby off the winning streak, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of tells you right there.
Was it Jinx?
Yeah, it was Jinx on
So.
ESPN. Then Jinx and Bixby turned around and got him like 2 weeks later in the playoffs. So what comes around comes back around. So like I said, but I want to give some good shout outs real quick to some baseball teams that won state. We're gonna start off with the 6A boys baseball team, Bixby. I think the first time they won one in like 17 some years. Don't quote me on that, but I know it's been a long time. Carl Albert comes back in the 5A and wins it. The state championship over Bishop Kelly. Carl Albert, man, they just got it going on right now, man. They win boys 5A football, then had a couple points away from winning the boys 5A basketball. Then they turn around and win baseball and had a hell of a year in track. The Tuttle Tigers, they keep doing their thing like they do in all their sports. They win the 4A boys state championship. The school out there, I think, has become a powerhouse, and everybody kind of know about. It's become the Washington Warriors, man. I mean, they just win and everything. So shout out to them for winning the 3A state championship. And then 2A, you have the Silo Rebels winning 2A. And then Class A, you have the Rattling Rams. And then Class B, you got the Fort Gibson, Mustangs. So shout out to those guys, man. And I just, I know baseball's a tough sport, and it's one of those sports that, you got a ball coming at you sometimes 99 per hour,
Yeah.
And then you got
depending on how good they got their pitchers are. Yeah.
And then you got a guy that can throw a changeup and you think it looks like it's on the tee, and then you strike out swinging at it 3 times. But one young man I'm gonna stick out from Carl Albert. His dad's a good friend of mine, Sean Norman. He played ball with my brother over at Miller City. Tanner Norman, I think he had a outstanding season as a not just as a baseball guy, but the guy also plays the young man also plays football too. So it's always good when you can have a young man that's a 2-sport athlete and he comes on and he's a great baseball player and a football player. But I think he had a great postseason. In the regular season, I think he had 119 at bats. His batting average was 454. His own base was 553. His slugging was like over 800. Then his hits, he had 54 hits. For a young man that's around about 240, 245, 250, he's an offensive lineman. The young man had 15 doubles and 4 triples, man.
Wow.
That's moving for a big man. And then he had 17 home runs. 7 home runs. And then, that's right. He had 7 home runs. So it just kind of tells you what type of young man this kid is, and just a quiet kid, and he's on that O-line that's going to block for X-Rob this year. The kid, is a good baseball and football player, so I'm really interested to see where he goes. I think right now he's probably sitting around about 6'2", 245. Like I say, he's a starting O-line for the Carl Albert Titans, and I think this young man, I think he might be a 2 or 3 year starter. I know for sure a 2-year starter, but I don't know. Did he start his sophomore year? So he might be a 3-year starter. He started for that Titan team. So like I said, you got to think he's coming out of baseball, fixing to go into football. So he'll probably put on about another 20 pounds. But just a special young man, like I said, and young man can, like I say, he can play football, and he also can play baseball. And I like to see what he does. He still got 1 more year, so he's just a junior. He's probably starting his their spring campaign started, this Monday. So spring ball is on his way. You got some new head coaches in different spots, some guys that took jobs. Congratulations to J.D. Reynolds.
Yeah, J.D. Reynolds over there just got hired at Western Heights.
Yes, sir. Yes,
so,
sir.
he'll be head coaching over there. I think they're are they? I think they're 6A now, aren't they? 5A?
No, they're 5A. They're 5A.
Okay.
I think
For a while they were. I think they were independent.
I think they're independent. I was gonna say I think they're. As a family of Sean, Sean and his boy and his family, man. I mean, it's always good when you can win a state championship. Your kid hit ones out, and you take a picture with the family, man. That's what it's all about, though, man. It's that family time, man, and having your family there. But like I said, big shout out to JD. We'll have that guy on the second here. I'm flipping through everything, folks. Here we go. That's the main one we want to have up. Is that one right there? Keep it 100. But like I said, it's like I said, congratulations to JD though, man. I mean, he's kind of did some different things, been at some colleges, and then he was supposed to coach the Wranglers. Don't know what happened on that deal, but I think Western Heights got a good coach. That's somebody that can lead him, that comes from a winning tradition, that played at OU, and also, like I said, played at Carl Albert under the Coach Rose era. So, I mean, that'd be good to him to take some of the things that he learned from Coach Rose and take it on to his head coaching journey now. So, congratulations to him. And then also, congratulations to another young man that's from Carl Albert, Bo Bradshaw. He becomes the defensive coordinator over at Newcastle. I think Newcastle as a team is up and coming. I know we had their quarterback and coach on. I went out there and did a show with them. So look out for that. I mean, Bo Shaw comes in, as a first-year defensive coordinator, but the guy knows football. He played at OBU, been around the Carl Albert, tradition for many years, also playing at Carl Albert, then coming back and coaching at Carl Albert. So look to see what he does with that Newcastle team, because that team's going to be a team to reckon with in 4A, man. Don't be surprised that those guys are playing for a state championship. Have a lot of young men come back. So that's going to be a team to reckon with right there in 4A. But like I said, Big E, high school football started this week.
Yeah, spring football.
Spring football. So I'm looking forward to hearing from coaches. Like I said, this is when we start getting kind of busy. We can start, bringing young men on and talking, football and spring football. It's the start of it. It's the taste of it. But, you can go into spring and then you can go into the fall camp and everything can change.
Right.
So, you might have some kids starting. But, man, one of the things I want to talk about, and, I mean, I know Jonah's not here. He had some of his babies are sick, so he had to call in today. We're going to excuse him because when your babies are sick, sometimes you got to stay at home and just hold them and love them. Tell them you love them because, it's one thing you don't want your kids to be sick, but it happens. But, one of the things that I'm seeing daily is kids moving.
Yeah.
I mean,
just the day and age that we're in. I think, I don't think there's positives and there's things you can there's positives and negatives to it, obviously you see all these kids moving around but if it's if it's truly a better opportunity for them, then I mean, I think at that point I'm all for it. Just getting a better opportunity to showcase what you have. If you feel like you're putting in all this work and, there's just some things happening at the school that you're at and it's not working out for you, maybe a change of scenery is good, but also sometimes a change of scenery isn't, the best thing. So, I
mean, a young man that just been a few years out of high school, as you get older each day, you hitting the 21, right?
21 here in a few weeks.
Few weeks be 21. But, for a young man to say, like yourself that grew up and went to Nakoma Park, went to, Tata, middle school, and then went on to the high school. So, you're like, hey, man, I'm sitting here. I'm in the weight room. I'm going to performance course. I'm doing everything they asked me to. I'm working on my catching. I'm working on my routes. And then you going into your junior, your senior year, and you're like, man, this is my year. I'm a play.
Right.
And then guess what?
Somebody moves in.
So how does that, I'm asked the question, and when y'all watch the show, man, give us feedback. How do you think that, I mean, because as a parent, how do you think the parents feel or the kids feel?
Yeah, I mean, is it fair? Probably not, but I mean, as long as they're doing it within the rules, it's allowed, and you kind of just got to take it on the chin, and it is what it is, If there's a kid, that moves in and he's more talented than you, maybe a little bit quicker than you, runs routes, or, I'm just saying that because that was my position. I was a wide receiver, but, they're just that much more talented and they're putting in the same work that you're putting in. Obviously, that kid's going to play over you, whether you think it's right or wrong. But, these coaches are in a position that, they got to win games in order to keep their jobs, and in order to put food on the table. So they're going to put the best guy out there that thinks that gives them the best chance to win. So, you can be upset about it, mad about it. I don't know. I think, there's a lot of good that can come from it, and they say this. I hear this when I'm following college football. When you hear about the transfer portal, it giveth and it taketh away. So I mean, it's the same thing in high school with all these kids moving around. People are going to have their own opinions on it, but at the same time, these kids and these families are making the best decision that they think's best for them, in order to get their kid to the next level or to get him in the spotlight a little bit more. So it is what it is at the end of the day.
I know what you're saying. I mean, you're exactly right on some of that stuff. But I mean, you just got to think about it. You've been putting all this work in, and finally, this kid you have no idea that's going to come in. So, you think it's the coaches recruiting the kids to come in? Do you think it's the kids that's telling the kids to come in? You think a little bit of both?
I think it's definitely got to be a little bit of both. Because some of these coaches around here, they've bounced around from school to school too. So they say like, hey, come follow me here. And then these kids, with all this 7-on-7 and AAU and all that, you get all these kids from different schools on the same team during summer, and they get used to playing with each other, get that chemistry and everything, and they're getting to talking into people's ear, just like last week when we were at QB Impact. Tom was telling us about how Sean was in Micah Bowen's ear the whole time, like, hey, come to Texas State with me. We already got this connection. So I mean, you get a lot of that in the summertime too. I think that's probably part of it. But I mean, I'm all for 7-on-7 and AAU. That's more reps, that's more game time, that's more experience. So I'm not saying that to knock that down or anything, but I think that's just what's going on. And then some of these coaches, they may help coach in the AAU or something like that in the summertime. So they get those kids too, and they get used and they like those kids, and they're like, hey, I coach over here in high school too. So, if you want to transfer out here, probably a spot for you. So,
yeah, I mean, like I said, you talk about these kids, it's happening everywhere. It's not happening just in Class A, Class B, Class, it's happening in every class. Look at all these kids that's moved around, two of Westmore's better kids are tight end and running back end up transferring into Choctaw. Carl Albert, ended up getting Bishop McGinnis' best defensive player, the linebacker. I think he just got an Oklahoma State offer just the other day. Yeah. Dell City, received the two young men from Southeast. I mean, they're cousins. One's a running back. One's has already got an offer to Oklahoma State. Probably would be one of the best running backs in the state besides Xavier. Is at Dell City. Then you get a big Christmas surprise when you get River to come into Dell City,
right.
and he's getting to throw to these great athletes, and Coach Jones is he loses off as a coordinator, which we'll have him on the show here in a few minutes. Coach Jason Madonna, not the new head coach at Shawnee, but Coach Jones, he has to hire a new offense coordinator, but then you get this new quarterback, you get this new running back, you get this receiver, and Fields, which we had on the show, man.
We did have on the show last year. He's a very talented kid.
Yeah, now he's starting to blow up and get offers left and right, and so you start to see a lot of these kids get offers left and right, and then and I said this a couple weeks ago, the rich keep getting richer, and then and these teams are just trying to stay above water because. I mean, if you got that much talent, and I said this to somebody just the other day, I said, I think Choctaw wins state this year. I mean, I know Muskogee's supposed to be the team, and Stillwater's going to be Stillwater, but Deer Creek, I don't think these other teams got enough kids that's come in that's going to help Choctaw. Choctaw already comes in, with some, I mean, Will Smith was probably one of the better defensive players in the state in Class 6A or 6A big or 6A small, and then you bring him in, and I thought they lost their nose guard. I can't even think of his name now, but the big nose guard they got, man, they keep him. I thought he was a senior, so this kid comes back. So then you start adding, some kids there that moved in or came in to what they already have. So I don't think. I mean, you saw what they did to Muskogee last year. I know Franklin is one of the better quarterbacks in the state, but man, if you ain't got nobody to block for you, you got that big edge Will Smith coming in on after you chasing you down, man. It can make for a long night. I think they're open up the season against Dell City, so that'll do a lot of testing. And then one of Corber's line that he had put in the paper last year, he won't lose at home. What did he say? What? 100 out of 100. So I always tease Coach Jones. I think Corbin got that 100 out of 100 from us. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, so that'll be a good opening up. Week 0 with them two. I don't know if that's week 0 or not, but I mean, opening week against a powerhouse like Dell City that has a top-notch quarterback, and then Tata trying to find their quarterback, which is going to be Cash Williams. And what's the other young man's name?
Oh, I can't remember his name. I really can't. It's like.
Is it Landon?
Yeah, Landon Gaston, something like that.
But yeah, I mean, this kid just picked up his second offer. Like, he's gonna look it up real quick. But you got two great quarterbacks gonna battle there. Then like I said, you get Westmore's best running back was a sophomore running for over 1,000 yards in big 6A. So what's he gonna do in small 6A? With those two QBs that they got over there. So, man, it's going to be really interesting, man. And their track team, showed out, this year in the 4x1 and, 4x2, whatever they ran. But it just tells you what type of kids they got over there. I know they got that one little receiver that played a lot last year, I think, as a sophomore, number 22, I think.
Landon Gadsden's his name.
I'll tell you right now, man, that young man, you get him in open field with Juju and some of the guys they got, man, they're going to be dangerous. Like I said, I'm picking them right now, on June 20th.
May 20th.
I'm sorry, May 20th. I'm trying to get to June, man. I'm on the way to Knoxville, on May 20th, but I'm picking it right here. I really think they'll win 6A small. But like I said, I also think, 5A is going to be wide open. Dell City, I mean, they got some good pieces, but, Carl Albert, I don't think they got to replace his Reed the Crazy. A lot of their kids, everybody over at Carl Albert is getting D1 offers. By the time they're done, they're probably going to have 15 kids go D1. Now you had the kid that came in from Bishop McGinnis, he just got one from Oklahoma State, and usually if you get one from Oklahoma State, everybody else in the Big 12 is going to follow you. And the Tristan kid in Trernay,
Tristan and Trernay.
I mean, they're blowing up weekly, man. I mean, they're getting offers weekly. So, so congratulations to those guys. And like I said, you're going to have many more. Like I said, I've talked about Tanner Norman. I mean, that kid can easily go to a D1 school for football. I think he wants to play baseball in college. But it just tells you what they got. You look at Elgin. Don't count Elgin out, man. They're going to be a team that's going to be reckoned with in 5A. You start talking about Elgin, man, and they got some players. Kids are moving around, and, you look at MacArthur, you look at Collinsfield. They're gonna be good again, Coweta. I mean, they lose our favorite guy that's in. He's been kind of like old boy from Midwest City. He's been there forever. They lose. What's my little man's name? We had on
the quarterback.
From Coweta, Mason Ford.
Oh, Mason Ford.
Yeah. Mason's been the mayor of Coweta's town for the last 14 years.
Which he just won him. I think he ran track. I think he just won him a state championship in track.
There you go. Coweta got a state champ. They couldn't get it in football, but they got it in track. So congratulations to Mason and the track team. But like I said, man, it's gonna be really interesting. I just feel like kids are moving around, man. The only thing I got to say about that, what happened to the loyalty? What happened?
I don't know. I think depending on how you look at it, I don't know if if loyalty is the right word.
I mean, when you call it any. I mean, back in the day, man, we grew up in the same backyard. We all played kickball, handball, or whatever we played, two-man touch in the street. Kids all played together, and then we went to school together. But it seems like now, man, I don't like that school, so I'm gonna move over here across the street.
I don't know if it's more so like that they dislike the school. It's just they're not getting the opportunity they feel like they deserve.
So what makes you think if you go to this school you're gonna get that opportunity though? Because
sometimes a new.
I know, but sometimes you got too many. I mean, how many running backs do you need? They only can get so many carries a game.
Right, but I mean that's why. I don't know. I just think, the more and more we talk about it, it's not gonna. I don't see it changing anytime soon. For one, so I think it's just something we're gonna have to adapt to and get used to. It's just a part of the game now at all levels, professional all the way down to high school.
No, and I think you're right, Biggie. You just hit it. Ding, ding. You just hit it right. I mean, right, because you said it's all levels, because it started with the college. It started with the NBA and hey, let's go make this dream team, this super team, and go win us a ring together. LeBron started when he went to Miami, and he said, I'm not gonna win but one, but two, but three, or four, or five, but you only won two, LeBron. But I mean, but you see what I'm saying? It started right there. So then you got the transfer portal. The transfer portal started with a kid graduated, and he can spend his last 1 or 2 years going to a school that he want to go to because he's graduated. But now it went to like, oh man, I mean, everybody's in the transfer portal. I think it's gotten better unless you're at Colorado. But it's got, Colorado, Deion put everybody in transfer portal. Hope he has enough players to start the season. But what I'm saying is that it seems like these kids are just packing up and moving and going. And I mean, we got to do something about it. I mean, high school's got to the point. What's OSS say? Are they out here checking all these kids? Are they knocking on the doors? Are they checking toothbrushes? Are they checking beds? I mean, are they doing any of those things, man? Because I mean, kids are moving. And they still living in the same neighborhood, man. And as me as a parent, I think that's the only thing that I don't mind if a kid moves and he moves in. But if you still living in your own address, your own house where you used to live at, then you come to this school, that's when I think I got a problem. I think that's when other parents going to have a problem. I don't mind a kid moving in. If you want to move in and help us win a state championship, because, hey, did Benny Coleman probably do it when he had that Choctaw Salty Wrestling team? Yeah, but a lot of those kids moved in. I mean, they moved in. I don't mind. I have no problem. I moved in. But when you don't move in is when I think I have the biggest problem, because how can I support a kid that's not even paying the same taxes I'm paying in the city I live in? Right. You know what I'm saying? That's keeping it 100, because you're getting kids that live over here in this neighborhood, but he's driving in, but he's not staying here, because as soon as practice is over, where's he going?
Back on to wherever.
There you go. So. But, folks, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to bring this head coach on, man, Jason Madonna. I know he's going to have some things to talk about because, like I said, Shawnee is beat up and broke down, and hopefully they can get them back up and running. And I know he's excited taking on a new journey, leaving Dale City. He's going to go down to God's country. They call it God's country down there in Shawnee because it's always green. So we'll be right back after what?
That's one of our sponsors.
Keeping it 100 Oklahoma High School Sports. Be right back. Welcome back to Keep It 100 Oklahoma High School Sports on this Sunday nice afternoon. On the phone with us is the head coach, the new head coach of the Shawnee Wolves, Mr. Jason Madonna. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Man, we can't complain, man. We back on the show. We did our show a couple weeks ago out there at QB Impact, and that was a little different. You out there in the sun and the wind, and man, I got to give it up to my man that's sitting next to me, Big E. Man, he did a great job editing, getting it down. I had one dad said, "Man, y'all was kind of windy," and I'm thinking, dude, if you'd have heard the show, it was windy. Yeah, but everybody want to put the little tinkle in. But I tell you though, but Big E does a good job getting that edited. But Coach, man, let's talk, because I know you're excited, man. I mean, you closed one door of the journey, now you open up another one. I know you've been at Dell City, been under the played under Coach Rose. Now you're gonna take your talents to Shawnee and get them going, because I know last year they struggled going 0-10, and then now they had a tornado, so you guys are fighting that and trying to get everything up and running. So what's it been like these last couple months, Coach?
Man, it's definitely been a roller coaster. I was extremely blessed. I had a great situation going on at Del City High School. Coach Jones has that thing rolling, and I 100% believe in what he's doing and what he's got going on. But I was presented an opportunity at Shawnee. They called and they were looking for a head coach, and they had some unfortunate events go on. And so we kind of talked and went through the interview process. And when it came down to it, I had to make a decision if I wanted to be a head coach again, what type of program would it be? And this kind of checked a lot of boxes for me as far as the community support, the history, the tradition it has, the area. And so, my family and I decided to go for it. And I had a long conversation with a lot of my mentors and a lot of people I trust. And it felt right, felt like the right time. And it was, very, very, very difficult decision because, Del City's coming back loaded. We had a bad taste in our mouth from the year before, but it just came down to a situation where, it was time. It was a situation I couldn't pass up. And so I get here, get excited. Things are rolling. We're getting the kids out. We're excited about it. And then the tornado comes and Mother Nature puts a stop to everything. And it, the school, if you've ever been here, there's a parking lot between the gym and the football stadium.
Yes, sir.
And it came right through that parking lot. It took the press box and knocked it down and really ruined the Stucker complex, which is kind of a PE wrestling complex. Tore up the baseball field, which is a legendary stadium that hosts smaller school state championships. Kind of tore up a lot of businesses, went right down the main street, Kickapoo, up towards the mall, and just really did a lot of damage. So they were virtual for several weeks, having to clean up the community. We had our kids did a great job of getting out there and helping when they could. There's a lot of community support in the town of Shawnee. And so it was pretty neat to see that, even though, it kind of put a wrinkle as far as the football aspect, but it really made you realize that there's things a lot bigger than that. So we had to, luckily for us, and Coach Ty Bullock and the guys at Tecumseh, they were gracious enough to say, hey, when we get done, come use our weight room. So we carpooled over there and, got a chance to lift, but we couldn't get everybody going. And this past week, man, they've had the cleanup crews have been amazing, and they kind of got it cleaned up for us. So we're able to get back into our locker room. We're able to get onto the practice field. And so this past week, we've been able to get our legs back underneath us, get a change of direction, get back lifting, and kind of get back to those activities needed for football. So we're headed back on the right direction now, but it's definitely been an interesting ride.
Well, Coach.
So excuse me. This is Ethan talking. Is this your first head coaching job, or what was?
No, this is my second go around. Yep. So I was at Midwest City for 5 years under Coach Huff and Coach Hall, and then I had an opportunity to head out to Bethel Acres, which is not too far from Shawnee, and I was young and dumb and thought I knew the world, and you find out real fast that you don't.
Hey, Coach, you know what I liked about that? You kept it 100.
Kept it 100, man.
That's it.
I took a job I wasn't ready for because I thought I was, and I found out real fast. There's a lot of real high quality football coaches in the state of Oklahoma. So,
go ahead with what you were saying. Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say. So, if you think you can just roll in and out coach some of these guys, you're foolish like I was back then. And so we did some good things out there, though, man. We reestablished the culture, kind of got the numbers back up, kind of did some things in the weight room, but kind of helped lay the foundation, I believe, and kind of got it back on the right direction. But I spent 4 years there, and then when Coach Dunn got to Del City, he gave me the opportunity to come back and work with him, and that was a huge blessing for my career. I got to learn from him and Coach Jones and the other guys around the staff, and kind of got to take the lessons I learned from Bethel and kind of hone my craft. And now, I feel like I'm ready for this opportunity. So hopefully I'm better suited and ready to go.
Yeah, and then kind of talk about the differences between, being a coordinator and then being a head coach, because so, obviously there's differences. So just talk about that.
The first big difference, when you're a coordinator, you're worried about one of three phases. As the offensive coordinator at Del City, I was worried about the offense. As a head coach, you got to be worried about all three.
Yes, sir.
Your staff as a coordinator is smaller than the staff as the whole team, so you got to worry about more adults, being in charge of more adults. And then you're the one that has to make the decisions as far as how you practice, when you practice, how you're going to lift, when you're going to do all those things. Whereas a coordinator, you make suggestions, but the head coach makes decisions, and that's the biggest difference.
You talk about being under Coach Huff and Coach Hall, and then Mike Dunn, then then a little bit with Robert Jones. Every one of those guys a little bit different. So I know you've been a head coach, but like I said, you was young, but now you kind of learned some things and been around some good guys. I know you was the offensive coordinator at Del City the last few years, and you guys put up some big numbers. You know, you was blessed with a bunch of athletes that came in each year to Del City High School. Now coming to Shawnee, you might still have some good athletes, but you might not have as many as you did at Del City. What's it going to be like to build that program at Shawnee? Because it's been down. I know Coach Sexton was over there for a while, a great coach that was at Beaver City himself in Muskogee. But what's it going to be like to build that Shawnee program back up?
Well, I think the first step is we got to capitalize on the community excitement. You know, this community loves football.
Yes, sir.
Even though they've had struggles, they've had quality crowds. You know, so we got to take advantage of that. We really got to get the youth involved and kind of lay that foundation for that vertical alignment. And then there's athletes here, man. There is. I mean, you come watch us work out. We got guys, you know, but we're young. You know, I think going into this season, we're only going to have about 6 or 7 seniors. And last year on that team, they played a bunch of freshmen, a bunch of sophomores. And, you know, the old saying is every time you start a freshman, you know, that's a loss. So they played a bunch of young guys, got a lot of experience. And so that's a positive going forward for here. But, I mean, you guys have heard Coach Jones talk a lot, especially on the show, man. It's discipline and accountability. And it doesn't matter if it's a great athlete, a bad athlete, a kid that works hard. You know, they got to be disciplined. They got to be held accountable. They got to make good grades. They got to be good people. And then you just work the heck out of them and develop the athleticism. And, you know, it may look different. You know, I don't know that I have a Kenigel Thomas that we can run on the post and just outrun everybody. But, you know, but we're going to find one. We're going to find a couple. I got some good quality guys. And so we're going to try to piece it together.
That's big. That's big time. Like I said, man, you know, you seen what it is like working with some of the athletes. I think, you know, one thing, you know, you've been offensive line coach and the offensive coordinator at Del City, and also playing at, you know, playing O-line. I think that's something that you ain't going to have to really worry about at Shawnee. I think they're going to have linemen. I think at Del City, you always had great skill guys, but maybe not the best linemen, but you made them to good linemen. So I'm looking forward to see.
Oh, we lost him.
Lost him. Well, folks, we're going well, he'll be calling us back hopefully, and we can get him back on the show, man. These questions got hot, so he's like, hey, I'm going to take a break real quick. No, I'm just joking. Don't know what happened. He might be in Shawnee, you know. They still trying to put towers and wires back together out there. So we're going to get him right back real quick, so hold tight. I love it, man. I love it, D, because, you know, we can talk about anything on this show, man. You know, I love that we can call different coaches, and I mean, from all over, man, and new coaches. And
hello?
Yeah, I guess we lost. We got you back, though. I don't know what happened, man. I told E, man, you might be out in Shawnee. I know they still trying to put wires and towers back together. But
I'm actually up here cleaning the office.
Yeah.
Trying to get it ready for spring ball.
There you go. But Coach, like I was saying, man, I'm looking forward to see what you can do with the offensive line there in Shawnee. And like you said, Shawnee's always been a school that I know my boys got to play them when they were in high school in Big E. It's like I said, it's always a good, you know, powerhouse. You've had some guys that went on and played Division I college ball that came out of Shawnee. But like you said, what's been the support? Like, I know you left Del City. I know you didn't take no coaches with you. So if you can, tell us about some of the coaches that you have coming on staff with you, or you retained from Shawnee, some of the guys that's going to help you build this program back.
Absolutely, man. Well, yeah, you know, when I took this job and I left, I told Coach Jones, man, I wouldn't, you know, try to poach. I wouldn't take his guys, you know. But we've had some good guys here, man. We retained 4 coaches. 2 of them are former Titans, along with myself, J.R. Moore, who's a big-time running back, quarterback back in the early 2000s, and Tyler Harrison, who played offensive line there at Carl Albert for Coach Rose, kind of in that 2007, 2008, 9, that range there. And then a local guy, Coach Williams, and then a guy that was actually on those Northwestern Oklahoma State teams when they won their national championship, Coach Lovelace, Dustin Lovelace. So we had some good guys here, man, that wanted to stick around and agree with my vision and wanted to keep it going. And we added some really good. So Coach Blitch, Mike Blitch, who I'm super excited about. He's been a defensive coordinator and DB's coach at Booker T for the past handful of years, and was looking for a new opportunity, trying to get closer to some family. So we linked up, and he's down here with me, and man, he's definitely a big time football coach. I was really excited about that hire, and hired some other guys, and Coach Hunt coming from Little Axe, And then I got some brand new guys. I mean, there were some guys that played here in the community that went on to play college ball that wanted to help. Tristan Wyatt, who played offensive line at University of Tulsa, and Elaine Cooper, who played wide receiver at OBU, and they're just back working in the community. It's like, hey, coach, man, we just want to help make Shawnee relevant again. And so they're here helping us. So we're fully staffed, man. We got a lot of quality men around these young men, and a lot of guys that care about football and care about Shawnee. So it's been awesome.
That's good stuff, Coach. Man, you know, like I said, are you going to stay as offensive coordinator, line coach, or are you going to just kind of oversee everything and not coach a position?
Nope. I am going to stay as the offensive coordinator. You know, that's kind of the reason. Not the reason, but a big part of me having to get this job is what we were able to do offensively. So I need to make sure that you know, that's overseen. And then me getting Coach Blitz from Booker T, we've had a lot of battles back and forth.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The OC and him as the DC. That was huge for me because now I know that, you know, the defense is going to be structured. It's going to be disciplined. It's going to be well maintained. And so that takes a little bit off my plate, knowing that we got a high quality guy in that position. And so that's going to help me out a bunch. But, yeah, I'm going to remain as the offensive coordinator, and then we're going to kind of find the best fits for my coaches, for my assistants, and then I'll fill in where the void is. So I'm not necessarily going to coach offensive line because I got two really good guys,
yes,
Coach
sir.
Harrison and Coach Wyatt. And so I'm going to figure out where I fit the best. You know, my philosophy is get a bunch of great guys in the room and then let them go to work. And so that's kind of the plan.
I know you don't play Dell City, but I know you play Carl Albert. And, I mean, what's it going to be like going up against the guy that you coach? You know, aside now you're going to be playing him. You know the powerhouse of Carl Albert, what they do each year in and year out. You know, what's that going to be like? You know, going up against Dunn and his coaching staff, a guy that was with you a few years and he left over and went over to Carl Albert, got his first state championship. I know you're in 5A with him and everybody else, but you know he's looking to try to go win his second one in a row. I mean, what's it going to be like? You know, going into that game.
Man, it's going to be a lot of fun. You know, it's a big challenge. I mean, what Coach Dunn has done a great job of is bringing on a really high quality man in that staff. You look at that staff over there, and they've got a handful of guys that could go on to be head coaches. And they got a bunch of guys that have been there since I left Carl Albert, 20 years ago, and that have just been, they understand the tradition and what's going on. So that's kind of the, as far as our district goes, because we're in district, they've been the standard since I can remember. As far as 5A2 go, they've been the standard. They've been the guys that have got that one seed. And so we're in chase mode, man. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited. Those guys, heck, they face me so much, or they know me. They know. So I'm going to have to come up with something new and different, just like, but I'm looking forward to the challenge, man. A lot of those guys are really good people. I've seen them in the community, Middle City, a long time. They've either coached me or I know those guys. And so I'm excited for that challenge. They're actually coming here to Shawnee, and it's going to be our first game after a long road trip. We'll be on the road for 3 weeks, and they'll be coming home. So I've told our kids, man, the expectation is going to be a big crowd. They're going to roll over here, and we're going to find out what we're made of, because they're going to bring it. They got some really good football players, and they got some really good coaches. So it's going to give us a great idea as to where we're at, the improvements we've made. And then, so I'm really looking forward to the challenge. I'm excited about it.
That's good stuff.
And, little interesting fact, I think I might be the only coach in Oklahoma that's coached for all three Mid-Dell head coaches.
That's big time. That'd be a trivia question.
Yeah.
Cool. We got to do. Coach, before we let you go, but I know you haven't been there long, but name me some of the young men that we need to keep our eye out. It's on keeping 100. Like, man, Coach talked about this young man that's a player. Name me. I know you can't name every young man, but when you got there and you start seeing guys lift weights and run, and somebody that really caught your eye, because like I said, you've been around a lot of talent with Foreman, the Canizos, the Jason Smiths, and I mean each year Dell City got something special. But tell me somebody that's on your campus right now that you like, man, this kid can go.
Yeah, man, we got a couple of them. Well, first, returning running back. They graduated a really good running back, and kind of the guy that skilled him. We're excited about sophomore. His name is Day Shaw. He comes from good stock around here, and he's explosive. He's a competitor. We got a linebacker, John Ryan High, who's kind of your prototypical Friday Night Lights. Like, he's not afraid of competition. He's the weight room warrior. He kind of leads us in all our max categories. We got quite a bit of speed on the edge, guys that I like seeing run. Ejon Thomas, Dietrich Beavers. So we got some guys, and then we had two quarterbacks coming back to split reps, one sophomore and one freshman this past year, in Zyron Campbell and Jameer Owens, and it'll be an intense quarterback battle to see who's going to be our starter. But they both bring different attributes to the game, and they both got a lot of experience last year. And then we've got an offensive lineman I'm excited about, 6'6" Jaquan Evans.
Wow.
He looks the part, and he's working his butt off in the weight room. He's just a freshman.
Woo!
And he started several games as a freshman last year, and so he's been in the fire. So I'm really excited about him and what he's going to bring. And I'm meeting new kids every day, because with the tornado hit, the spring sports were still in session. So it took me a while to get to know the baseball players and the track runners and all the spring sport guys. So I'm meeting more and more kids every day that are coming over. Hey, I'm back in football, and just really exciting, man. Just there's a lot of good-looking kids here, and there's a lot of high-quality young men that are ready to play some football. So we're really excited about it, and they're all young. So we get an opportunity to develop them and grow them, and I really think we'll make some strides this season. But I really think the future is bright in Shawnee.
No, I mean, what you're talking about, man. I mean, a lot of these kids you're talking about, young kids, and I know, like you said, I mean, every time you start a freshman, it's a loss. But now these kids become freshmen. When they become freshmen, become sophomores, from sophomores to juniors, because halfway through the season they grow up on you, and they're not going to make the same freshman mistakes they were making before. So that's a good task to have. I mean, a good hand to be handed to you, because you got a lot of young men. Yeah, they're young, but they've already played in a varsity game. They're not scared of a Friday night light game. They're not scared to get on the highway and drive to a opposing ballpark and go play somebody. So these kids have grown up, and now adding a coach like yourself that's been around in one district and was close enough going to a state championship, and been with Carl Albert, that knows what it takes to win in Midway City under Coach Huff, one of my favorite coaches, and playing under Mike Dunn and coaching with Robert Jones. I think you got a lot of experience, and you got a lot of knowledge given to you. Now you're gonna take what you know and add it to what's given to you, man. So like I said, I'm excited for you, Coach. I know you got a tough task, a team that went 0-10, but I know if there's anybody that can get them on the map and get them going, is Coach Madonna. Like I said, what you done at Dell City, man, it speaks for itself. Being one of the highest scoring offense in 5A, and really close. I mean, from you and Robert Jones, really, really close from, you're one game away from being in the semifinals and playing, was it Grove that Carl Albert played? And then,
Yep.
you lose to Coweta by a point or two. You lose to McAllister by a point or two. And, the year before that, you guys won district, beat Deer Creek at Deer Creek to win district. So, you know what it takes to win. You've been part of that call-out. You've been part of that Bomber, Magic. So, like I said, you've been a head coach. Like you said, you kind of helped Bethel get back on the map. So, like I said, I'm excited for you, man. I know you got a tough task with the tornado, and then, like you said, learning all your kids. And I know you don't get to do spring ball, but you get to be around your guys and get them going. And that weight program is the most important thing, because you get them in that weight program, and you get those quarterbacks out there throwing to the receivers and doing the things they need to do on the off time to get better, because Shawnee's right there. But I will ask you this, though, Coach. I know you're the new head coach out there. Are you going to ask for turf, or are you going to keep that grass?
Well, the tornado caused some damage here. We're working on it, man. We're trying to get this thing turfed, and we're trying to really update the facilities. They got some historic stuff around here, but we can definitely fancy it up a little bit. So any big-time donors out there that want to see Shawnee have turf, feel free to open the checkbook and come help us out, man. But, no, we're looking for partnerships, man. We're hoping that this next bond, we can really get the community excited about what we got going on here, and they'll support it. And, hopefully we can get this thing done sooner or later, and kind of get the visual part caught up to the excitement that we're getting ready to have out here. So that is the plan. I don't know how long it's going to take to execute it, but it's definitely on the horizon. You know, our AD Dax Leone, he's a Shawnee guy, played Division I baseball, University of Texas, and he's back here and he's working his butt off to make Shawnee athletics top notch in this area. So I got to give him credit for what he's doing here and the work that he's putting in along with our administration. And so it's coming. There's good things coming here.
Well, Coach, I tell you this, I've done a lot with Dell City, doing Keep It 100 show with Coach Jones, and I'm gonna open up the same partnership with you. Maybe we speak once a week or something, and tell your kids about Keep It 100. We're about to give away our second scholarship to a young man or lady here in the next couple of weeks. I just got to close the deals on that, but tell your boys about Keep It 100. Tell them to follow us, man. And like I said, we want to keep up those young men and promote them like we did the Dell City, Carl Albert, Middle City kids, and all kids across the state. So tell everybody about us, man. And like I said, we want to follow Shawnee and be part of your success as you winning or losing. Because at the end of the day, man, I know you're gonna make a great coach, and you're gonna help these young men become not only great football players but also great young men.
Well, I appreciate that compliment, man. I appreciate what you guys do, keeping high school football relevant and just getting a voice for these guys. So appreciate what you guys do, and thank you for the compliments.
No, sir. Anything else before you go?
Yeah, I just want to say good luck to you on the new job. Just congratulations, and I'll be rooting on Shawnee, and I'll be looking forward to seeing them in the coming years under your helm. So yeah, just good luck.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Coach, like I said, we appreciate you coming on, man. And like I said, good luck. And like I said, we'll keep in touch. And then maybe, like I said, we can shout to each other once a week and see how the team is doing, okay?
Sounds good, man. Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
All right, you too.
Bye. Well, folks, that's Coach Jason Madonna, the head coach of Shawnee High School football team of the Wolves. Yep. And like I said, man, I know they had sex as a coach, and he did some good things when he was at Middle City and Muskogee. I know they ended up changing coaches this year, but Coach Madonna is a guy that, man, I'm telling you, ever been around the guy knows football. He was Robert Jones' right-hand man. What Dell City's been at the last few years with their offense. I kind of ran into him a couple weeks ago over at the Nike outlet, and I kind of say, hey, man, Coach, I want to have you on the show. I know he had so much going on with the tornado and everything that's going on, but I just tell you, though, man, if there's somebody can get a turnaround, I think he can. And I just tell you the athletes that he's had at Dell City, so he knows what athletes are like, and the scoring he's had. Like I told him the other day, I said, I wish you'd stay one more year. You getting that quarterback like Rivers, and the numbers you was putting up with them other QBs, boy, Shawnee. Everybody been trying to come after this guy for a job, but everything happens for a reason. God landed him a place where he needs to be. Like I said, he'll fit that. He's a good, outspoken. You heard him talk, man. Good spoken young man. A really guy that knows the X's and O's, man. He's behind the masterpiece, man. I know a couple years ago we kind of beat him up on our show with Coach Reggie. But like I said, I know they cleaned that up and became good friends, and I know they probably still talk to each other about X's and O's. Reggie knows his passing game, and Coach Madonna's running offensive line. They love to run and play smash mouth football. But I tell you though, man, he's learned in the passing game, and just year and years I've been around him, man. Just a great speaker, great father, great coach, great teacher. Was a big part of that Dell City community. So good luck to him. And the Shawnee, man. Like I said, I like to see him come up on board, man. It'd be crazy if he knocked off Carl Albert this year, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, it would be.
It'd be
Absolutely.
crazy. But, folks, we're going to keep this rolling, though, because we still got one more all the way from the what? What is that, 918 down
918.
there? 918. We're going to have Coach Cole.
I was there last weekend.
Oh,
I was out there.
Was at the golf?
Yeah, I was at that golf tournament.
I see you got a little bit of tan, huh?
I got the tan going on.
Hey, looking good, Big. You looking good, man. But we're going to get on Coach Cole, man. We're going to keep this rolling, and then we're going to close the show out, man, like we do each week. Always a great episode to keep it 100, but we're going to get Coach Cole on the phone, and then we're going to keep rolling. That's what we do. We're right back after what?
After one of our sponsors.
Keep it at 100 Oklahoma High School Sports. Right back.
Man, Dad, all this crazy weather has gotten our roof and gutters all messed up.
Good thing we know some guys over at Rain Down Roofing and Gutters. They can inspect and repair your roof and gutters and get in contact with your insurance company in 72 hours or less.
Call Jay Hunt at Rain Down Roofing and Gutters at 405-473-0674. No job is too big or too small for Rain Down Roofing and Gutters. Welcome back to Keep It 100 Oklahoma High School Sports. Like I said, on this Sunday afternoon, having a little bit of fun. We had Coach Madonna on, but now we ain't gonna drive to 918, but we're gonna call you to 918. We got my main man that started following us when I had a picnic table here in my podcast room, and he's been a big fan. And now he got his own podcast show. I think I'm gonna say one of the best DBs and coach around the state of Oklahoma, Coach Cole. What's going on, Coach Cole?
Wow, thank you for the high praise there, man. Yeah, I am. I'm a huge fan of what you guys have been doing. I don't know if it's been since day one, but I know very early on in Keep It 100's history, I was on board with you guys.
Man,
yeah, love the support and appreciate it.
Now, Coach Cole, man, I appreciate you, man. I mean, when I was nobody, and still really ain't nobody, but I think I'm somebody. At least my daughter think I'm somebody, so that's good, and Ethan and my brother. But I tell you, though, man, it's always a pleasure to listen to you. And then now you got your own show, man, and, I mean, you guys are doing big things with it, man, and people don't know the hard work it is to try to do a podcast. I get jealous of my son-in-law all the time. He blew up big overnight. Here I'm still trying to blow big up just one night. So I just know how it is, though, with, having your own show. But, Coach Cole, man, you guys are coming off another great season at Bixby. I got E with me. Jonah's not with us today, but I got E with me. But you guys are coming off another great state championship run at Bixby. And it gets tough each year and each year out because everybody's shooting for you. I was just reading just the other day, Kewan Jones and another kid, I think the quarterback, took their talents over to Jinx. Everybody, me and he had this conversation. You can answer for me if you can. It seems like everybody's loading up. I mean, it's like, I asked E earlier, why kids are not loyal no more. I feel like everybody just say, you know what, I can't win here. I'm going to pack up and go down the street. I know Bixby everybody get move-ins, but, when you're good, like Bixby and Carl Albert and some of the other schools, kids are going to come in no matter what. But, Coach, what do you think it is?
Well, I think, the rules from the OSSAA are what the rules are. So there's a little bit more freedom for parents to move their kids into those situations. And if that's what they feel is best for their kid, as long as you're doing it within the rules, I don't see a problem with it. I myself, I'm kind of like you. I'm a lot older. I think there's a little bit of loyalty to it. And I get excited when I see those kids that make like an announcement that they're staying at their high school.
Yes, sir.
But also with, I don't want to speak on, Kewan, because I don't know Kewan, but what's the problem with him moving his son to his former high school? I get that
I'm right
started
there with you.
Broken Arrow, and there's a legacy there. And, it's Jinx. It's one of the best programs, maybe the most storied program in the history of Oklahoma high school football.
Stop, Coach. I got to stop you there.
They are.
Stop, Coach. I got to stop you real quick.
He's got to talk about his Bombers.
I got to talk about you. I understand. Okay. Jinx was good. They beat my brother with Rocky Calmers. But when I was in high school in Gundy, we didn't know who Jinx was. Jinx was like Choctaw. It was a homecoming to us.
Were y'all packing out college football stadiums?
We packing out. Hey, Coach could tell you, back in the day when them Gundy boys were playing and Jeremy Woods and A.J. Hinch, boy, we was doing big things. River City was the powerhouse.
All due respect, okay? All due respect to the Bombers.
Thank you.
From as long as I've known about Oklahoma high school football, Jinx has been one of the tops.
Yes, sir.
I've coached against Midwest City, and the coaching staff of Midwest City now is great. They've got phenomenal athletes and great history. Absolutely. Jinx just hits a little bit closer to home for me.
Yes, sir. Hey, I'm agreeing 100% with you, Coach. You're right. You can't talk about a program what Trimble did with those guys and got them going and keep going, even though in his passing and God, we trust in the man. He was a great coach. But I just tell you, man, like you said, they was the one that knocked you guys off the winning streak, but you guys came back and redeemed it 2 weeks later and knocked them off. But like you said, I mean, taking nothing from Kewan, but last week we did our show. 2 weeks ago we did our show over at QB1, and Jinx had a quarterback. I guess he had moved in from Bartlesville, right? And then now he's at Jinx. He didn't start last year, and we watched him throw the ball the other day, and I was like, man, this kid is good. And I had him come on and do the show with me. The next thing he says, hey, man, yeah, man, I got a battle against Broken Arrows quarterback that just moved in, him and Keywan's son. I was like, holy, here this kid moves in thinking he's going to have the job. Now, Jinx, BA's quarterback moves in and trying to probably going to take his job because I saw something on Twitter. But, man, I just feel like everybody just moves, man. You talk about, I was talking to a coach earlier, Coach Madonna, and then you talk about, Chata. I think they had probably about 10, 12 kids moving. I really think they're going to win small 6A this year because, with the kids they moved in, there's some great talent. And then you look at Muskogee. Yes, Muskogee probably has one of the best quarterbacks, but I doubt Muskogee had 12 good kids move in. And then you talk about Stillwater. Yeah, they won it last year, but they got to replace Gundy. How many people's moving into Stillwater? So I think Jake Corbin's finally going to get that gold ball. I know Ethan will be happy over here. That's his Chata Yellow Jackets. But, even with you guys, everybody's loading up to beat Jinx, to beat Bixby. Jinx wants to get that title going. I know you guys are here now in Big 6A. So everybody has to load up and try to do the right things.
Well, yeah, I would say with 6A2, I'm not.
Yeah, we're good.
I'm not taking anything away from Muskogee. That's my boy, Coach Reisenhuver's their offensive coordinator, and as long as he's got Bird and he's got the weapons around him, I think Muskogee's pretty good.
Sorry, we have a little ideas, a little technical difficulties going on right now. Okay. But no, like I said, I think Muskogee would be one of the top-notch teams in small 6A. But I think at the end of the day, like I said, I think Carl Albert. But even in Big 6A, who would be some of the teams that you look at that that might give you guys another tough run this year? Because you got Owasso, you got Union, Broken Arrow. They're always going to be good, even though they might lost some kids. Somebody else got to step up. You got Bixby. Who are some of the sleepers that you could see in Big 6A that people might not talk about?
Well, as far as ones that I don't hear a lot about, because again, Tulsa area 918, Mustang is so good, and Mustang is terrifying. They're well coached. I know they graduated, some really great players, and they've shuffled some coaches around, but Mustang is really good. And they took Jinx. It took Jinx having some late game heroics just to make it past them and into the semifinals. Otherwise, we're playing Mustang instead of them in the semis. And then the other one that I always look at is Norman North. They got runner-up in our district, and those guys are, again, great coaches over there, and caught lightning in a bottle with Six Killer.
Man, that kid was good.
I go back, and I know that the story of Norman North, from my perspective, the running back that's at OU now, he got hurt against Chapman. He gets hurt against UConn. They fall off, and then they have to turn around the next week and play us, and they were still trying to find their identity. Trying to find out if that quarterback could carry the rock that much. And then they beat Broken Arrow and Jinx back-to-back after they played us.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, Norman North and Mustang are two really good teams.
Big E, you got any questions for him?
Yeah, coaching at Bixby, y'all have been at the top for the past almost a decade now. And, I'm a little salty, I'm not going to lie. Choctaw almost had y'all a couple years ago. And,
should have, would have, could have,
huh? They were like a couple plays away from getting one. But, just talk about, the culture and the tradition at Bixby. What is it that, keeps y'all going? Like, what is it that, keeps the wins coming? Because, here before soon enough, y'all are going to have an infinity gauntlet of rings on your fingers. You're going to – so, I put a little twist on that because of his podcast,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I love it.
Hey, that did not get past me. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I've been at Bixby for 4 years. Just finished my 4th year there. We had our last day of school on Friday. And so essentially, I went from Bristow, Oklahoma, coaching linebackers there. And then I didn't lose a game from November, the first round of the playoffs, November of 2018, until November of 2022. And I can tell you it's a humility and we adhere our core values that we speak on. Like we don't just say it once at the beginning of the year. It's not just some team meeting. It's something that we talk about every single day. And then people ask us for like, what's the secret and all that stuff. It's the weight room. And nothing comes before the weight room for us.
Yes,
There's been times where, hey, I need to meet with this defensive back. We're playing Choctaw, a really good football team. And I need to meet with my safety and get him going. Coach Montgomery's not going to let Kel Fugate out of 5th hour strength and conditioning because he has to lift. Every player has to lift.
Yes, sir.
There's a college coach coming in visiting. He wants to talk to, Cordell Goldsby. Well, Cordell's in there lifting right now. You can talk to him in between sets.
Woo,
And
Wow.
that's the way we do things. That's the cornerstone. That's the set piece that there's no getting around. It's Coach Montgomery says it all the time. Every team has great players. And in 6A1, every team has a couple of great players. It's the in-between players, the players that fill those gaps. Yeah. If they can beat the in-between players for the other team, that's where success. And that's where we have had great success. Every year I'm always worried about our offensive line because we graduate 3 or 4 dudes. And then every year these guys come in and these dudes have been working for it for 4 years.
Right.
So, Coach,
I'm
sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So, Coach, you talk about, graduating guys, and you guys have been stacked the last few years with the 2 twin brothers that played tight end and then, your running quarterback. Who are some of the guys that's going to have to step up this year? I know you had everybody was looking forward to see the other brother. I can't even think. One's at Oklahoma State now, one's at Tulsa.
Presley's.
The Presleys. Man, that's what happens, Coach. You get old, man. I get 51, man. I'm losing my mind. My wife loves it. She's like, man, I love it. He can't think of nothing. But, you got the young Presley. He was a freshman last year. Now he's going to be a sophomore. What's his tradition been like, getting bigger, faster, and stronger? Is he going to be more part of the offense this year? Is he going to just kind of play his role? And some of the guys that's going to step up since you lost like a guy like Luke.
Yeah. So speaking on Braden first, is Braden Presley. He's the tallest, the longest of the family. He's got the athleticism. He's got the fast twitch. He's kind of nervous coming back from an injury right now. And selfishly, as a defensive backs coach, I hope we use him primarily on defense this year.
I love it, Coach. I love it.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's catches a bubble every now and then or is returning kicks for us. Again, it remains to be seen. We've got a lot of, defensive back wise, we sent 5 guys Division I.
Yes, sir.
Last year. And that's not me. That's why you think I'm a good defensive coach, is because we had incredible football players. But I think we're into spring ball now. We've done a week of it. I think the pieces to our puzzle are there. Putting them in the right place will matter. So, and when I look at that, I think of names like Cordell Goldsby. He's going to be a 2-way guy for us.
Yes,
Last
sir.
year, he was only offense, didn't want to put too much on his plate. This year's his first off season with us, and he has just took to it like a fish to water. And he's absolutely a leader for our team. And his stock is only going to rise. Another guy, and if he's not the starting quarterback, which he may very well be the starting quarterback, he will be the starting safety and still get a bunch of touches. There's a guy named Clay Peters.
Okay.
And he got some playing time last year when we would go 3 quarterbacks in the game at once. And he's a runner. He was number 7 last year. He'll wear number 10 this coming season. And he has worked his tail off in the weight room. And I look forward to him having a great year this coming season.
Man, you talk about is it the Goldsby number 13?
Yes, he changed his number to 1, I believe.
Okay. I thought that young man was a senior last year, and you talk about a stock. I think his stock is going to be incredible rise to the top, man. Because what he can do with the ball, touching the ball, on jet sweeps, catching the ball, and leaving people. So that's a young man that you're going to see at the end of the year that's probably going to have, 10 to 15 D1 offers. But, you guys do it year in, year out. People look at Bixby, and you're like, oh, man, they got some athletes. But, you talk about, hey, I have 5 guys go D1, but coach, you got to give yourself some credit because even though they're going D1, but you got to put them in position to coach them and have them in the right spot, and them to pay attention to you, know what's with the scheme that we're running to go get those interceptions, to go get those knockdowns or breakups. So you got to pat yourself on the back. And I know you talk about Coach Montgomery. I mean, I know he's one of the best in the business. I feel like he runs that program like a college, program. So everything is going. You guys are all about business. You don't ever hear this guy on Twitter talking noise. Don't matter who he's playing, he goes takes care of business. You get beat by Jinx, there's no excuses. Guess what? We're gonna get another shot at them, and guess what you did? And you took care of business. So that just tells you about the about the Bixby program. You talk about Jinx, everybody talk about Jinx, but you gotta put Bixby right there with them in the last 8 to 10 years. What they've done in 6A small, then come up to 6A big last year and win it. They lose their winning streak, but guess what? Sometimes you gotta start over somewhere. But I just think Bixby is one of the top-notch programs in the state of Oklahoma, man. When you talk high school football, everybody, I know people say Jinx, but now people talk about Bixby. So, you being part of that and being, with Bristol, but now being over there with these guys, what's it been like, on that staff? Is it ran like a college?
People ask that, and they call it like the Bixby machine or whatever, and it's like, no, like we're like we coach humans, like
they're not robots.
People that Kel Fugate last year has 4 interceptions and 4 touchdowns in the first half, against Moore.
Yes, sir.
And people are like, this kid, he's an incredible player, and he gets on there and he talks and he sounds, robotic, saying all the right things. It's like, no, that kid's a squirrel, man. I got to rein him in all the time. Like he's got a preferred walk on to OU, and he's loving it. And I'm so proud of that kid for being so great. But no, it's so cool to be a part of a staff where, we're all super competitive. If you're not like beyond competitive, you probably won't last long on our staff. Like, we all compete every day. Me and the wide receivers coach, like, we're the same age, graduated the same year from far different places. Like, we don't really talk to each other that much because I want my guys to do better than his guys do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Like, and I know for a fact he's going to be an offensive coordinator at some point, whether it's taking over for the best offensive coordinator in the state, Tyler Schneider, who's our guy, or if, someone picks him off, takes him away, I know he's going to be great at it. Well, I want to make sure that I'm carrying my, pulling my end of the rope and making sure I'm doing the right things as well.
Yes, sir.
It just creates it's competitive, but we know we're all together. That's really cool. And then our players, they're competing in everything. My safeties this year, they're competing on who can grow their hair longer. Like right now, the safeties, the meetings that we're having, I'm like, you guys, you all look ridiculous. Like, cut your mullets off and let's just focus on this. And they're arguing about whose hair is longer. You know what I mean? And so that kind of culture, that kind of thing, I love it. I forgot what the question was, but yeah, that whole thought process of us being great, I hope we can continue it. I know that right now, we are always working at making our process better.
That's it.
It's like, if we just sit and rest on what we've done in the past, if we just sit and rest on what has worked and we aren't pushing it forward, we'll fall behind eventually.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, Coach, go ahead, Big E.
Yeah, and then, gonna take it back to towards the end of last season real quick, that first game against Jinx, y'all lose. And, Bixby, y'all that was like, what, 40-something games that y'all had won straight.
Now, let me say this real quick, E, because this is what people forget. It was 58.
58,
was the
okay.
number.
Okay.
58. People forget that game was played on a Thursday night.
It was?
Our kids were at school. We were at school the next day.
Right.
And I coach a weightlifting class that is what we call Gen Pop, like it's non-athletes weightlifting.
Mm-hmm.
And you think those guys weren't talking trash to me? Like, Coach, what happened? I'm like, Jinx is really good. Like, it's Jinx. Like,
yeah, Jinx. Yeah, like, yeah. But what was the attitude like around the team? Like, what was it like? Okay, we knocked it down, but we still got a championship to go win. Was that the attitude, or what? Did you guys have to reel them back in? Like, what was it like after that?
No, it was one of the coolest things you've ever seen. Before I remember very late in the game, we're about to kick an onside kick, and Dylan has at University of Arkansas right now. We're standing there, and I said, whatever happens on this play is going to be remembered for a very long time. So let's go try to get a ball. And
Right.
he goes, yes, sir. And as soon as the game was over, he comes up to me and he goes, we'll be better for this. And I was like, all right, cool. We're good. Because that's my leader on the field. That's my guy. And if he's going to take that stance, the rest of the team is going to be fine.
Yes, sir.
If our captains, and they're like, no, every goal we have is still ahead of us.
Right.
Like, it sucks for me to be able to say that Jinx game didn't mean anything, because at the end of the day, we still got district champs. Norman North still finished second, and Jinx still finished third.
Yeah.
But that game definitely means something because it's a huge rivalry. So like you can go down the list, ESPN, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And congrats to those guys. Set up a great rematch that was nerve-wracking.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, y'all came back and put it on them. I, just as I expected. I remember, me and Tony were putting our picks into this game, and I'm like, I think Bixby's going to win, and it's not even going to be close.
Yes, sir.
So, just coming back, that revenge, it's hard beating a team twice, especially, at 6A1, the highest level of football in high school in Oklahoma. It's tough to beat a team twice. So I remember we were talking, I was like, I'm pretty sure that's what I said. I don't know. That was so long ago now. But anyways, and then going into this season, what's the, again, riding off the high of winning yet another state championship, what's the buzz around the team this year? As going into spring ball and all that good stuff.
I mean, not a lot of buzz. Just we're back to work.
Right.
I've got
business as usual.
Get your lunch bell in your hand. Let's go to work.
Yeah.
Hey, we got to figure it out. I've got myself, and we hired a brand new defensive backs coach to help me coach corners. Shaz Scarborough, formerly a coach at Sepulpa, is where he spent, I think, the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
He moved on. We lost our corners coach, Coach Nelson. He's getting out of education, want to spend more time with his family. Coach Shad is, believe it or not, a lot better at defensive back footwork than this guy who grew up in Stigler, Oklahoma, and played offensive line. But we've got our work cut out for us. Like I said, we didn't know if we had the pieces to replace defensive backs, and that's all I'm focused on, is making sure we get the right pieces. And we've got them. I think we've got the right pieces to have a very successful season. And we just got to get them out there right and make sure we just keep pushing. We're coming into the time of the year that we feel separates us from a lot of people, and that's our summer strength and conditioning program.
Right.
And so it's right around the corner. Looking forward to it.
So do you guys open up week 0, or do you guys have are you playing a Texas team, or what do you have on the schedule for the first couple weeks?
We'll play Owasso again. The
Okay.
schedule is the same
Okay.
this year as it was last year, flipping home and away. We'll play Owasso in a rematch of the state championship game at University of Tulsa again.
Okay. Big time.
So it'll be a very good time. Yeah, hopefully.
I got to ask you this, so before we let you go, you have your own podcast show. What's it like? I give you kudos all the time when I see your pictures on Facebook of you and the family. What's it like juggling being a father, a coach, a husband, and trying to do your podcast, because, you do your editing and all that stuff. What's it been like having your own show, the good and the bad?
Zach Stevens is my co-host on Jordan.
Yes, sir.
On iTunes, Spotify, all that stuff. Shameless plug right there. But
yeah. Say it one more time, Coach. I think you might have faded. Say it one more time.
Jerd Knox is the name of our podcast. It's Nerd Jocks. You switch the first 2 letters. If you type it in, it pops up. But we're just Zach and I. We were talking one day at a JV baseball practice, and we were like, man, we both like all this nerdy movie stuff. Why don't we talk about it? And I was like, yeah, I've always wanted to do a podcast. And he was like, I used to do a podcast. So we did. It's not like what you guys do. We don't dive into the weeds on Oklahoma high school sports. We talk a little bit about Bixby because that's where we're at. And
Yes, sir.
but it's a little bit, it's different. I'll tell you this, I'm probably not the best at it. Again, I live in Bristow, so I live 45 minutes from Bixby. It's a long drive. My wife, Keela, is the head cheer coach here at Bristow, so moving's really not in the cards anytime soon.
Yes,
Right.
sir. Yes, sir.
But Zach and I have made a very conscious effort to where it's like, if it puts our family at sort of a disadvantage, we're just not going to record that week.
Okay.
Or if we know something's coming up, we're like, no, this is to us, it's a hobby. And if it ever blows up, if it ever does something good, we'll focus more on it. But right now, we do it for fun.
And that's what it's all about, man. Like I said, me and he's been doing it for 3 years, and hopefully he can get something big out of it when he gets out of college. I tell my wife all the time I want to do about 10 more years in the distributing business I'm in with Miller Coors. But like I said, I love it, man. I think I'm gonna do it long, while Zoe can graduate from high school. She's playing basketball, and so I love it, man. Like I said, we don't make a dime. We're about to give away our second scholarship this year. Here in the next couple of weeks, we'll be announcing it. But like I said, we get to talk to high school kids. I know we had your defensive back on, and I'm not saying keep it 100 or anything, but I appreciate you giving it to him. But I mean, the kid kind of blew up after that, and a lot of that's his play. But he ended up signing. Did he end up signing D1 too, Coach?
Yes, he went to Abilene Christian. He'll be a part of one of the most stacked defensive backfields in that level of football with Mukes transferred in.
Over there,
bunch of those guys. And speaking of, Tony, I know this is my first time on podcast. I want to do it for a long time. I want to talk to E for just a couple of minutes here.
Yes, sir.
A couple of seconds, okay? So, E, you had my man Tyson on. You asked him about Choctaw surprising us. Let me give you your props.
Okay.
For about a year, I absolutely hated Choctaw, and it's because they were so good. Yeah. And it was. I'll tell this story, and this is only my perspective. It's no one else in Bixby, so I don't want anyone to think that it's we're game planning for those guys in 2020, and game planning for these guys. And everyone's very confident that we're just going to go out there and run over them. And it was myself and the cornerbacks coach that were like, hey, this ain't going to be as easy as we think, guys. And sure enough, take us down to the wire. I think we beat them by 10 at Bixby. And then when they upset Stillwater in the state championship or in the semifinal, it was Katie barred the door. It's a game that took years off of my life. It took years off of my wife's life. She talks about it all the time. It consumed the Cole household for months. And then for a year, we have to walk around seeing those guys, Trey Porter, Terrence Carter, Jake Corbin, all those guys at coaches' clinics. And you have to mean mug them. You know what I mean?
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
And so what was cool is now we're cool. Like now it's like Trey Porter's one of the best dudes. Terrence Carter's one of the best dudes at like promoting his kids. That staff does a great job.
Yeah.
And so just mad respect for him, man.
Yeah.
And just so you know, that's like that one was one where at the end of that state championship game, tears were falling. Like I just found my wife and fell on her. I was like, thank God we get this. Like it could have went either way.
Yeah, and I was on the other side rooting on Choctaw. I was in that game, I was there, but I remember just, that was just really one of the best games that I was ever seeing. Just like it was back and forth, like defensively. It was a very high scoring game. The weather, the elements, and everything. It was cold, and there's something about that's just one of those games that you really never forget about. Like if you were there, So it was a great game to watch, and congrats to you guys, winning that. But those guys, Coach Carter. I wasn't there when Porter was there. He joined the staff after I'd left. And Corbin, those are my guys. They still, every time I run into them, they ask me how I'm doing. Those are just great people, great coaches. That game, it was definitely one to remember, and probably one that, you got a different point of view than I did. But, that's one of those ones that, you remember for a lifetime. So.
Oh, yeah, 100%, man. Thanks for having me on, guys. Like I said, I just wanted to talk to E. 'Cause I know for years I've heard E just hold back on it. Like, we should have had them. I'm like, dude, they had us. We were scared.
Yeah. Really the play, you had, what was it? I don't know. I can't remember.
Are you talking about the game that was at Bixby?
No, the game that was at the state championship.
The difference of that game is the muff punt, or I think it was the muff punt.
Yeah, muff
was
punt. At the very beginning of the game.
But you guys missed out on a bunch of points, man. You should have scored right before halftime. Should have scored a touchdown with Presley, man. I mean,
Well,
I think
you got to remember how good that defense was.
I mean, I understand that though, but I understand that. But what I'm saying is that Bixby missed out on a lot of points. I'm just saying I was cheering for Bixby that game.
No, don't disrespect.
No, I'm not disrespecting. I'm just saying you
Coach
guys.
Bryant.
Coach Bryant is. That's why he's a head coach at Moore, and hope he can get the.
His stuff is like I feel like we run some good complex stuff at Bixby. His stuff is like, what? How you? Okay, you're good.
Yeah.
Like you've got these guys. Like how are they?
Hey.
How are dudes fitting all over the place?
I mean, you got to think. Coach Bryant also was the same guy that was coached at sophomore when with the one of the Thompson boys are there and played Jinx in the semifinals. So he's been there. He's been in the spotlight. I think he can turn more around. I mean, I coached a 7-on-7 team, 8th grade going into 9th grade, and he got a kid over there in that 8th grade that can spin the ball, and he got 3 top receivers, only 8th graders, man. And you can easily see these young men playing on Friday nights, along with the CJ kid they got. So if Brian can get somebody to throw that ball to CJ, and he does what he's doing, and he has a good staff. So kudos to him, man. I gotta have him on this show though. But man, I tell you though, this time we're getting hot and heavy because when high school football, somebody asked me the question last night. We're sitting over here, watching the Lakers game, and one of the moms asked me, "It's like, man, Tony, are you staying busy?" I said, "Man, me and E and Jonah's about to get busy because it's you got pad camp this week. I'm gonna try to make some games. This is one of my busiest week at work, but I mean, I still want to make some games, and then just getting these different kids on and talking to them. I haven't talked to Jamal from Muskogee. I'd love to have him on and see what it's like going into his his junior year. So I mean, it's gonna be exciting, man. Love to have the Gooseby kid on. I think that kid's gonna be one of the top-notch kids. Players in the state of Oklahoma, man. I mean, Oklahoma football, to me is just get as big as Texas. I mean, I know people might laugh and say, "What are you talking about, Tony?" But man, if you look at it from all the classes, man, I mean, the kids that we have. I mean, look at Carl Albert, man. They got so many kids getting D1 offers, it's crazy. I mean, I know Coach Don got to be sitting over there tickling himself, man, coming from Dell City, winning his first state championship over at Carl Albert. Coach Jones over at Dell City. He has a great quarterback move in from Bishop McGinnis to him, in Rivers, man. Plus the best running back, one of the best running backs in state. One of the Fields kids. So high school football is just amazing, man. I mean, you look at what Jinx is doing, moving kids in and kids coming in. So man, I'm excited, man. I can't wait for I know we got to get through summer first, but I can't wait for week 0 to kick off, man, with some of these great matchups and some of these great coaching. And like you said, you got to get better, getting your secondary better, ready for this year. So kudos to all the guys that does this job, because it is a tough job, and hours you guys put in and away from your family, it's tough. So, like I say, thanks, Coach, man. Like I said, man, I can talk to you all damn day. I told you, I mean, not saying, folks, I told him the other day but a couple months ago when we did the show, I said, man, he has a radio voice. Not saying he's an ugly man, because he's not, but I'm just telling you, man, his voice makes you want to listen to him talk, and that's what it's all about, man. When you're doing radio and stuff like that, man, when you got a voice that makes you stop and listen, no matter what you're doing. That's what Coach Cole got, man. He has that voice that makes you like,
man, I was not born with it. It is a background of speech, drama.
Okay.
Believe it or not, I did football and speech and drama at Stigler High School. And then I was actually a theater performance major for about a month.
Okay, now he's telling all the secrets. There it is. I'm gonna have to do something there. But man, I'm just telling you, when you listen, man, there's another guy that I used to love to listen to. His name was Alan Hendricks, man. He was one of our Coors guys, man. And he when he talked to some of our meetings, man, you kind of just stopped and you didn't play with your phone. You had all attentions, and that's what you have. So, Coach, man, but like I said, I thank you for giving us the opportunity to come on the show with us and talk high school sports, and I mean, like I said, even pub your show, because your show is part of our show. If you're doing good, we're doing good at, I mean, and that's what it's all about, man. I give love to anybody that's doing it, because it's a lot of hard work. I gave it to E a couple weeks ago, man. We out in the wind, and it's windy, and he did a great job getting that show up and running, and plus taking all the different clips we had to cut and stop and everything, because we had 10 different kids come on and interview with us, and so he had to go in and cut all that out. So kudos to him and what he does with this show. I don't tell him enough, but what he does, man, he's the big part of keeping 100 at all time.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, thanks again for having me on, guys. Anytime, man. Love to be on.
No, like I said, good
Absolutely.
luck to you, man. Go get another ring for their. What? How many you got now? 4. Looking for 5, or looking for a toe ring. What are you looking for now, Coach?
I'm just looking to beat a Wasso weeks here.
That's it. That's
There you go.
That's it. Well, enjoy your kids this summer, man. Love to watch the pictures of them growing up, man, becoming, big kids, man. Like I said, man, they happen so quick. I remember 4 or 5 years ago, my boys were playing their senior year, and I'm crying, and my youngest one she's fixed to go into 7th grade, and I'm looking like, man, as soon as I blink, it's gonna be over. It's gonna be me and my wife, and probably as soon as Zoe graduates, she's probably gonna kick me out the house too. So that's where we're at. But Coach, thanks for coming on, though. We really appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate you guys, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Great for the game. Great for the kids, man.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
See you.
Bye-bye. Well, folks, that's Coach Cole, man. The outstanding defensive back at Bixby High School, man. Like you said, he had five, not 1, but 2 more rings than LeBron James. I know I'm a Lakers fan, and LeBron ain't doing what I need him to do, but he'll be swept come tomorrow night. But now, like I said, five kids go D1 in the position you're coaching. That's a hell of a position, Coach. But, he's having fun. He talked about his wife being a cheerleading coach over at Bristol. And him driving into Bixby. I mean, it just tells you right there, man, when you got a great job like Bixby and your wife's a cheerleading coach, man, and, there's time he sacrificed and missing some of her games to be at his games. So that's a lot of love for them, too. So, I mean, they're a great couple, great family. I like what he's doing with his podcast. It ain't sports like us, but, he does movie critics and stuff like that. But he can really talk sports.
Yeah. I mean, it's really cool. I mean, I've listened to that podcast. So, I mean, if you're into movies or anything like that, check out Coach Cole's podcast.
Check out the one with me and him.
Yeah, check that one out. That was a cool one that they did for Black History Month.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool stuff. I listened to a bit of it. They do. I mean, really. I mean, you hear his voice on here. I mean, seriously, he has one of those podcast radio voices.
He does.
So, great guy to listen to, entertaining. So if that's your movies and stuff like that, if that's your forte, give his podcast a listen. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, folks, we're going to clean this up real quick and like I said, another great episode, but I like to say we will be giving away the Keep It 100 scholarship. I had Jessica this morning. I said order the check. We got a couple people. I don't know if we're going to do 2 or 1 or just maybe do one big check. I don't know. Something I will get with E and Jonah on. Like I said, I thank everybody that's part of helping us do the Keep It 100 Oklahoma High School scholarship. I like to say Jeremy Woods, Tom, Eric Sanford, everybody that's part of the show. I know we'll be coming in with partnerships, probably with BS, and then Triple Elite, Chris
BSN,
Crawford, BSN. I'm sorry, BSN, but to make sure I get it right, I know they'll be probably partnering up with us now. I know they want to do some things with high school kids in the Mid-Dale area. He's with all the different high schools with uniforms and stuff like that. I've talked to Crawford, so we'll probably try to shoot an ad for them and get their stuff on our show. But like I said, this is not for me, E, or Jonah. Jessica, it's for a young man or a woman to go help pay for their books or a meal or a ticket, whatever they need to do. I don't want to see rims on their car, but it's something that is going to help them in college because anybody that knows he's sitting right next to me. If you're going to college, it ain't free. I mean,
not.
It's not
if
free.
It is free, you're very lucky. I was very fortunate to have my first 2 years paid for, but now it's getting to that point where it's that ain't the case anymore.
Don't be surprised if he put his name in the drawing for the
right.
for the scholarship though. But like I said, man, I'm excited about what we're gonna have coming into the spring ball. Hopefully I get out to some games next week and get some footage. I know Pad Camp is kicking off, man. It's going to be some good things going on. I know Dell City is excited. I know all these schools are excited. I know Choctaw excited with what they have. And then you got Midwest City. They got to find a quarterback, they're finally, DJ Irvin finally leaves. He's taking his talents on to Las Vegas, Nevada, UNLV. I like to see what Bethel can do this year. Coach Ginn, with the Tapley young man, hopefully they can go in for state quarterback. Newcastle, like I said, Bo Bradshaw become the defensive coordinator over there. J.D. Reynolds, with Western Heights, I know at one point in time they didn't have enough kids to play football, so hopefully he can get that program up and running. I know PC West, I have a new coach this year. Their coach left and went on a PC Original. So all these schools with new coaches, man, good luck to you, man. Like I said, good luck to every young man that won in baseball, track, and field, and all those sports, man. I mean, I know this season is over. We're looking forward to what season? Was it 2023 or what? Is it 2023?
Yeah, we'd be going into the 2023-2024 season. So.
Yeah, that's always kind of hard. You always got to scratch your head. Like, is it 2023 or 2024? Because
like for the fall sports, it's 2023 season, and all the spring sports, it'll be the 2024 season. So, but yeah.
Anything before we close out?
I just want to thank everybody that keeps tuning in and watching our videos. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, retweet, share, all that good stuff. Turn on the notification icon so that you know whenever we post. I try to get the videos out every Wednesday around 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, but sometimes YouTube, there's too much traffic on the website so that it takes longer for the video to get posted. Yes, so if you turn on that notification bell, it'll tell you exactly when that video gets posted up and it's ready to view. But yeah, just thank you guys. Again, thank all the sponsors that help make the scholarship possible. All the guys that have donated money out of their own pockets to help make that possibility for a young man or woman. So yeah, just thank you guys yet again, and we'll catch you here in about probably 3 weeks from now. I'll be on vacation. I'll be out of town unless Tony decides to get something rolling on his own. Then we'll see you guys probably here in the next 2 or 3 weeks or so.
Yeah, before we let you go, I want to say a real shout out to the Fans View. I know he kind of put our stuff together with his and made a little music and clip together. I want to thank him for that, Mr.
Absolutely.
Abram. Heroes Dad. I just tell you, man, that was pretty cool. I was kind of flipping through YouTube and I saw that. I was like, what? I heard my voice and I was like, I didn't make this, and I'm like, who did this? Did he do something, Jonathan? And he did it, but man, I just think that's pretty cool, man. I texted him yesterday and told him thank you. He's like, hey, thanks for mentioning my kid. And man, like I told him, man, when your kid mentioned himself, when you're a baller, man, you're gonna find him no matter what grade they're in. Here's a kid that you want to keep your eye on. And like I said, some of those kids over at Colorado, that 7-on-7 team I'm coaching, man, I think I got one of the best defensive backs in the state of Oklahoma as an 8th grader, man. DJ Anderson, I'm telling you, man, this kid's a force, man. I was telling Coach Thomas, man, whoever gets this young man, I'm telling you, folks, he's a lockdown corner, man. I seen it from my own eyes. He's not scared. He's aggressive. He can come play press. He can come play zone. I tell you, Elijah, Matthews, man, a kid that's going to be a freshman over at Carl Albert. Keep your eye on this, man. The kid catches everything. He can catch a BB in the dark. I'm just telling you, the kid catches everything. He's amazing. Anderson Collier, he's still young. I know he's working out with Tom George. Once he figures the whole game out, he's going to be dangerous out there at that QB position. The kid can throw the ball. I got a 7th grader going to be an 8th grader, Joseph, man. This kid I'm telling you right now, this kid has learned the game. He hasn't played a lot of football, but he's learned the game. Watch out for this young man. He's going to be unstoppable. He's just a 7th grader, man. The kid can fly. He can run. He's amazing. Like I said, Jackson Webster, related to, that famous basketball name Webster that was back in the Colorado early 80, 90, I think 90s, 89, 90, somewhere in that range. And then his cousin's cool. So, he has that athletic background. I tell Jackson all the time, I kind of ride his ass a little bit, but, I tell him all the time, keep working hard, son. You got all the talent. But sometimes, you let the talent beat you because you hard-headed. My mom used to tell me back in the day, a hard head makes us all fast. And I'm just telling all these kids out there, I'm keeping it 100, man. Sometimes you got to be coachable. You might have all the talent, but if you ain't coachable, guess what?
Yeah.
Nobody's going to want to coach you.
Right.
They're going to give up on you, man. So I'm telling all my little 7-on-7 kids, man, they're good. They're a good group of kids, man. But they got to realize, man, it ain't all about them. It's a team effort. You win a state championship in football as a team, not as an individual. Like I tell them all the time, you want to be an individual, become a wrestler, become a tennis player, become a golf. You can do those things individually, but team sports, it takes the whole team to win. But, folks,
Yep.
I appreciate you. I love everything to Big E. Sorry we missed Jonah today. Like I said, his babies are sick. We'll have him back in a couple of weeks. I'm getting that check order, so we'll be reaching out to nobody knows who we're giving it to, So if you get that phone call from Keep It 100, that means you're the lucky winner of the scholarship. Folks, that's free money. Free money is good money. And all money is good money. All money is good money, but
Ain't that right?
we appreciate you guys. Get us out of here, Eat.
All right. Thank you guys tuning in. We'll see you guys in a few weeks from now. And, see ya.
See ya.